It was really
difficult
funny.
to believe. But,
Benny
how do you
being
find
like,
that?
do you work out? You're gonna have to.
I lock up with Usyk. I knew then, when I told you this, when I locked up with him and I felt his embrace, I knew this is a bad dude.
What's his favorite thing to eat on set?
Cake.
Cake.
Yeah.
For an athlete, cake.
He wanted to eat cake all the time. She was like, if I get you some cake, will you do it? And he goes, yes.
Darren Bent here for talkSPORT. Dwayne, Emily, thanks for joining me.
Of course.
I want to start with you, Dwayne. Did you always want to make an MMA movie? And what was it about Mark Kerr's story that attracted you to it?
I didn't always want to make an MMA movie. I wanted to make this particular movie. MMA just happened to be the thing that Mark Kerr did. And at one time, as you know, Mark was the greatest MMA fighter on the planet. Most dangerous, feared, unstoppable. He was, he was a smashing machine, and he would just completely go through these guys. The most compelling thing I think about Mark's story that we wanted to tell is when somebody can seem impervious to losing or invincible, you just never know what they're actually going through. And whether it's us, you, anyone out there, like we try to put on this thing, right? Like, hey, we got together.
Yeah.
And we try to at least, but you never know what people are going through. And that was, I think, one of the key reasons why we wanted to tell this story. Because he's actually Mark and Dawn, whose girlfriend became his wife. They're divorced now, but they have a beautiful son named Bryce. They're the living examples of what happens when you go for everything and you lose it all. Yeah. And there's addiction involved, and there's, he overdosed twice. He's lucky to be alive, but they're here today, and they made it, and they overcame those odds.
I mean, I've seen the film and I think it's absolutely amazing.
Thanks, brother.
And for you, Emily, what drew you to Dawn's character, and how much time did you have to spend with her to really get that kind of emotional connection?
I mean, I tried to spend as much time as I could, and, she was so generous with that time and with what she shared within it. It was just, I, of course, asked her endless nosy questions about everything, like everything to do with their relationship, and she was really vulnerable. And it's also, now she's older, she's wiser, she's looking back on that time as one of the most volatile times in her life, and I think we've all behaved in ways at times that we go, why did you do that? Oh my God, you could have handled that better. But there was great love between them, and yet, for me, the attraction was to play somebody who wasn't necessarily tidy or palatable or sort of easy to pin down as to whether she was a support system or his Achilles heel. And I think that just felt truer to a relationship, because in films, it has a clearer identity sometimes, or characters have a clearer identity. But I think people are a myriad of things, and they fluctuate between those things within half an hour. And you see this, and like human beings are hard to figure out. And so I loved that about her, and I loved that about Benny's environment that he was willing to explore,
Was it one of them as well, when you spent the more time with both of them, that the more they opened up? Because I'm guessing at first they're quite nervous and they're quite guarded, and then all of a sudden...
Dawn was maybe more nervous at first. Mark is quite open, actually, and he's very self-reflective. And our first Zoom we had with him was almost 3 hours.
Wow.
3 hours. It ended at midnight. It was extraordinary.
But you're right, they are a little bit, because it's their life. And, up until maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago when we first started making the announcement that we were gonna do, in 2019 it was first announced that we were gonna make Smash Machine. And Benny and I were gonna do it then, and then COVID happens. But the documentary came out in the early 2000s, and for Mark and Dawn, really that's their legacy. And it didn't end well, that documentary. It's not like it ended, it had this rocky ending. Yeah. It's like, oh, the guy loses everything, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And so you think for them, for decades, that's been the lasting
imprint
until this. So naturally they were a little guarded and concerned, but also wanting to be open as well. So we told the story right.
I read something somewhere as well for you, Dwayne, that you had to bulk up, which Sorry, I find
Dude,
that
it was
really,
crazy.
It was really
difficult
funny.
to believe. But,
Benny
how do you
being
find
like,
that?
do you work out? You're gonna have to. Like,
Yeah, I found that really difficult to believe. How hard is it for you to obviously change different weights for different roles?
Well, I've done that in the past, you know, a couple of pounds here, 5 or 10, you know, modulate the weight
This
up
was
and down.
massive,
This was
though, yeah.
bananas. Like Benny came to me and we had a good laugh about it. He said, I don't know how to say this and I don't know if you've ever been asked this, but you're gonna have to get bigger. And I kind of laughed, but I knew he was right because
then he
Mark
said,
Kerr
like,
was
puffier.
because Mark was a big guy, a lot bigger than I was back then. And he also had the challenge of putting on 30 pounds to play Mark Kerr is that Mark Kerr's muscle is a different kind of fast twitch fiber muscle that, you know, athletes out there and coaches, you know what I'm talking about with wrestlers because, you know, it's that fast twitch movement. So I had to put on the weight and at the same time make sure that I still stayed agile and I had to move in the ring and in the cage. Yeah. That was hard, man. And that's a lot of weight to put on because Mark was so big in his traps and his back and his legs, you know, from all the takedowns and that movement that he would do. So that was hard to do, man.
Someone who we know over here, Alexander Usyk, obviously heavyweight champion of the world, fantastic. What was it like to work with him and how, because obviously you're swapping combat sport in terms of MMA from boxing ring, what was he like to work with?
Amazing.
Let me tell you something about Usyk. First of all, amazing guy.
Amazing guy.
Beautiful soul
Yeah, awesome.
and open and beautiful stories he would love to tell us and great.
Such a character, vibrant, like such a big personality.
I get in the ring with him and, you know, we didn't cut away. Benny didn't want to cut away. He came to me early and said, hey, I know you have great stunt doubles, but I'd like to only use you, which meant I'm going to mix it up with these guys and get my ass kicked. And so the first time I lock up with Usyk, we're full on locking up and we went through the whole fight scene, he and I knew then, when I told you this, when I locked up with him and I felt his embrace in this lockup, I knew this is a bad dude. And don't let, because you know, some dudes look like, oh, that guy's a killer.
Yeah.
His body is shit right. And some dudes like Usyk can be a little deceptive, right? Just how he looks.
Yeah.
But when he locks up, that deception becomes reality because I'm like, oh, this is a bad dude. And he's just, you could feel it in his legs and in his base. And then we start sparring at the top of our fight, you know, a couple of jabs out there. He is so fast.
Yeah.
And you know, if one of these punches slips,
It's bad.
I'm going to the
And
hospital.
what was his favorite thing to eat on set?
Cake.
Cake.
Yeah.
For an athlete, cake.
He wanted to eat cake all the time, and it
That's
just
how you had
made
to
me
bribe
laugh.
him to
You
do
would
stuff.
bribe him to be like, the lovely PA was like, Alex, we do need to get the fake sweat on you again, and he hated the fake sweat. He was like, why? Like he didn't understand continuity or anything, and she was like, if I get you some cake, will you do it? And he goes, yes. And so they'd get him some cake.
Absolutely incredible. Dwayne, Emily, thank you for your
Thank
time.
Thank
Really
you,
appreciate
brother.
it. Thanks for talking to me.